The Queen took part in a digital engagement marking the opening of a new hospital unit that was named in her honour.
Let's bring in 9Honey royal commentator Natalie Oliveri with more on that. She had to do a video call with hospital staff and patients. How was she?
Good morning, David and Sylvia. Yeah, really well from this video, it seems. And this was really the first time we've heard the Queen speaking about her battle with coronavirus. Now, during this video call, Her Majesty said the virus left her feeling very tired and exhausted, and she described the COVID pandemic as horrible. Now, she tested positive in February, and at the time, Buckingham Palace said she was experiencing mild cold-like symptoms, but from this video, it seems it was a little more serious than we were led to believe. Now, this virtual visit took place with staff at the Royal London Hospital, and it was to open a new ward in Queen Elizabeth's name. And this was actually built during the peak of the pandemic to cope with the huge influx of patients, built in just 5 weeks instead of the usual 5 months. And look, it happened last week. We're only seeing it today.
OK, well, meantime, we are learning more details this morning about Operation London Bridge, the code name for plans for when Her Majesty dies. What do we know?
Yeah, so this plan specifically deals with how the church bells across the UK will sound. Now, during the official mourning period when Queen Elizabeth does pass, all the church bells will be fitted with these leather contraptions called muffles, and that is to create a more solemn bell sound. Now, the bells will sound more like a hum and a bit of a dull thud rather than the usual, I guess, jubilant
celebration.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. Now, we found out this in a directive sent to all churches from the palace, and it's actually created a bit of a surge for these leather muffles because over the years, churches, their supplies have been left to rot because the last time they were used was 70 years ago for the death of the Queen's father, King George VI.
Now, she's pulled out of events. I mean, she looks okay in that Zoom, but how is her health?
Yeah, she's looking quite well, but we have seen her pull out of an event coming this Thursday. It's the Maundy Day service, and this is one of the biggest events in the lead up to Easter, and Her Majesty has only missed this service 4 years in her reign. This year she'll be represented by Prince Charles and Camilla for the first time. She hands out little money to pensioners, so it's a nice celebration, but unfortunately she won't be there this year. Now, we are believed she has pulled out now to avoid disappointment on the day and also to avoid overshadowing the event by doing a last-minute cancellation. But look, David, I think it's all part of the Queen's gradual wind down of duties and handing certain events over to her family where appropriate.
It's happening in real time in front of our eyes, isn't it?
Well,
Absolutely.
Also in front of our eyes at the moment is Princess Anne, and you've been hot on her heels at the Easter show.
That's right.
Tell us about the trip so far. How has her visit been received by the public?
Really well. A lot of people didn't know it was happening. It was sort of kept under wraps by the palace and then sort of announced at the last minute. But it was nice to see Princess Anne in Sydney. She's finishing her 3-day visit today. She's going to be meeting with members of the Australian Army in her role as Colonel-in-Chief. But look, the last 2 days were quite busy for her. She visited this is her at the district displays at the Sydney Royal Easter Show, where she was officially opening the event. And one of the highlights from that day was when we saw her ride in that carriage that she had last used in 1970 with her mum, the Queen, and Prince Philip. And then the next day, we saw Princess Anne visit the Rural Fire Service and also carry out an investiture at Government House. So she's off to Papua New Guinea tonight, where she'll be there celebrating the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, and then back to London.
Fantastic. All right, Nat, thank you so much.
Thank you.